The British Association of Mixed Martial Arts presents their 7th event, featuring a star-studded card. In the night's main event, British bomber Paul Daly returns to action after back-to-back setbacks to Nick Diaz and Tyron Woodley. The Team Roughhouse disciple has proven to be one of the division's most explosive strikers, with 20 KOs on his resume. On that night, the Muay Thai machine will go head-to-head with powerful UFC and M1 veteran Jordan Radov. In 2009, the Bulgarian showcased his punching prowess by stopping Bellator middleweight tournament winner Alexander Storm Shlemenko, a feat that both Pele and Bellator 185-pound champion Hector Lombard could not accomplish. Former WFA 170-pound King Frank Trigg returns to the cage for the second time in 2011 when he squares off against Bellator welterweight tournament participant Jim Wallhead. Trigg has a wealth of mixed martial arts experience on his side, but don't count out the English judoka, as he's able to win in any realm. With more than 10 years separating the two athletes, one has to imagine that Father Time will eventually get the best of Twinkle Toes. If Wallhead does manage a victory over the former Raw representative, it will be the biggest victory of his career. The lightweight title will be on the line when submission ace Leo Santos meets English fighter Rob Sinclair. Santos, a skilled BJJ fighter, submitted George St. Pierre at the 2005 Abu Dhabi qualifier, and will be looking to do the same when he takes on Sinclair in front of the hometown crowd. Conversely, for Sinclair, 8 of his 10 wins have come by KO, and he'll be looking to land one of those fists on the chin of the Brazilian to keep his title. Also on the card, Ultimate Fighter alum Andre Winner will try to rebound from his unanimous decision loss to Anthony Njokuani when he meets fellow countryman Jason Ball in what should be a stand-up affair. It all takes place on September 10th at the National Indoor Arena in Birmingham, England.
And Robin, they put together a really solid night of mixed martial arts. Frank Trigg taking on Bellator veteran Judo Jim Wallhead, and it's an interesting matchup. Not a lot of people know who Wallhead is.
I agree. I mean, I think Frank Trigg at this stage of his career needs a challenge, but maybe not one quite as steep as Wallhead. Dangerous fight for him because for Trigg, you know, you want to be fighting names, and if you're going to lose at this point in your career, to lose to a guy who's less known than you, like Wallhead is, it's a very dangerous business. Tough fight for him. Tough fight in front of this audience, too. I've been to Birmingham, and these people like to party and make noise. It's going to be a great show.
Trigg, of course, known for his wrestling accolades. Will he try to get this fight down to the ground? We've seen him use his hands over the last number of years, but the way to play it safe is to force this fight down to the ground. You think he'll employ that strategy?
It's tough to say. You know, Frank Trigg is a very talented guy who's, you know, been an established veteran throughout his career, but he's never really won the big fights. And he's always kind of tended to fall back down on his wrestling. And it would be great to see Frank Trigg show what he's been training with his hands. I mean, you know, we don't hear as much of him over the last few years, and yet he's always training, he's always analyzing, he's a great analyst in the sport. Let's see what he can do with his hands, try to keep this fight standing, you know, but it's a tough fight for him.
In the co-feature, the very durable Jordan Radov taking on one of the most explosive strikers in the entire division, if not the sport, and Paul Daly fighting in his backyard. Paul Daly really can knock out anybody if they decide to stand and trade with him. Martin Kampman is the prime example of that. And will Jordan Radov try to stand and go toe-to-toe with this guy?
If so, it's like an iron fist against an iron chin, and that's really fun for fans to watch. I mean, you got to tune into the Fight Network Live and check this out. There's great mixed martial arts all over the world, and some of the finest is in Europe. This is the biggest organization in Europe.
Paul Daly, we've seen improved takedown defense, but it's still not his strong suit. Will he be able to stop the takedown if Radov decides to force this fight down to the ground?
Well, that's been the test for this guy in every one of these fights. I mean, when a guy's standing in front of you who can knock you into unconsciousness with one punch, you want to put him on his back. So he's definitely been improving that. That's going to be the test. I think he'll stuff the takedown and ultimately knock out Radov, but I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
We see Andre Winner on this card as well, coming off that loss to Anthony Njokuani. What does he need to do to rebound to get himself back into the Ultimate Fighting Championship?
Well, for Andre Winner, this is about, you know, restoring your confidence, and this is about proving that you did belong at that level. There's no secret. Anybody, you know, who gets bounced from the UFC has to go put a few wins together and get back there. That's how you make a great living. That's how you feed your family. That's how you accomplish the things you want to accomplish. And that starts right here at BAMMA for Winner. I think he's going to have a great performance in front of his home crowd. They're going to love this man because he has been at the very top. They're going to love him. He's going to come in there and have a great show.
The lightweight title is also on the line. Rob Sinclair, the champion, taking on one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world in Leo Santos. We know that Rob Sinclair went the distance with Paul Sass, and all you have to do is ask Mark Holst if Paul Sass's jiu-jitsu game is on point. We know that it is, but is it at the same level as Leo Santos?
Well, that's a great reference to point out that he was able to go the distance with Paul Sass, because like you said, this guy's a submission machine. So, great point. But Leo Santos is not Paul Sass. You know, Leo Santos is going to submit this man and take that title. He's one of the very best in the world. He's exciting, he's driven, he's talented. He's going to take that belt.
It's BAMMA 7, and it goes down right here on Fight Network. Check your listings for details.